WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 057-999-7. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time here in SVG, it is, and I'm turning down like it's me to turn down. It's not me to turn down. All righty, so time here in SVG is 7:45, and it's time for us to get commentary from Lyf Compton. Lyf, morning.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
How is everybody this morning?
Everybody good.
How are you?
I'm good.
Your song dong though.
No.
Thank you up to mischief.
Always optimistic.
Always.
Always. Yes. So this morning, right? Well, as we all know, the USA invaded Venezuela and took the president into custody for whatever reason. Now, people have been saying this for years. Oh, the world is a very unstable place, and you know, we need to be careful. I don't think the world itself is an unstable place. I think the United States of America is an unstable because of the actions of since Donald Trump has been along the presidential position. A lot of incidents have been happening worldwide that has been making the world very unstable. The kidnapping, no capture. Man wasn't captured, he was kidnapping up. Nicholas Maduro is just another thing that makes the world kind of unstable right now. We also saw the US going after the Russian black oil tanker and seizing it, and Russia saying they said they need to release this tanker right now. We're contemplating military action and nuclear whatever. Also, the mention of Caribbean leaders being involved in a drug trafficking ring has also brought some instability to the region. We see now countries agreeing to take this is a very weird one to me. Like small countries like Dominica and Antigua. Well, Antigua said they didn't really do it as yet, but Dominica has said they would take citizens from the U.S., not citizens, deportees from the U.S. who don't have any ties to the U.S. or the country. That's very, very weird. They kind of focusing on we're taking non-violent criminals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
and in the case of Antigua, Gaston said they would take persons with skills that are not necessarily found in Antigua. They take those with skills.
Okay. So why America don't want them? You see, I don't understand this, right? Because a man with a violent part is kind of easy to predict. But what about these guys with cybercrime part? They're gonna non-violent means cybercrime. You know, hacking and whatnot. Why the US want to deport them if they're just such good citizens, you know? And we saw a few years ago some Ghanaians coming to St. Vincent with this ATM scam where they were putting machines over the ATM and rabbit. And there's a lucky thing they were caught early because countries like St. Vincent and Grenada and Dominica are not equipped to deal with cybercrime, and this is some of the talent that will be brought to these countries. And a man landing in Dominica and getting himself and problem in Dominica and something. How long before he hears about Antigua? How long he hear about Grenada, St. Lucia, where they could just hop across on boats and get away? We've seen it happen numerous times. And then on top of to add insult to injury, although Dominica has agreed to take these people, they now have a $15,000 visa bond. Yeah. It's time enough, right? Caribbean people. Well, let me speak specifically to Vincentia. This time, Vincentia seek alternative vacation, places to vacation, and there is shop. No, it's for real. I had applied for a U.S. visa couple years ago, and I had had U.S. visas before, both non-immigrant tourist visa and a ski-man visa, right? And I had applied, and it was a given. Recently, I applied again, and it's the same thing, right? For a specific reason that I don't even see how it applies to me or makes sense to me, right? And I've been saying for years, this time, intentions and many Caribbean nationals look away from the U.S. in relation to traveling for vacation, because really and truly, who wants to vacation in the U.S. for vacation purposes? If you want, I can understand you wanting to go to visit your family, or you want to go to visit your friends, but I've always said that going to the U.S. for vacation is not really, like, in my mind, safe for plenty of people, especially in times when there are going to be huge crowds gathered at places. Is it going to be in the back of your mind that, listen, this could be a mass shooting like what happened in Las Vegas where a sniper stood in a building and shot so many people? Or is there going to be an explosion, a bomb? Is there going to be some kind of terrorist attack? And because of the tariffs imposed, put on certain goods by the U.S., I don't think it's really the ideal place to go shopping for your business these days either. Food stuff is much cheaper in England. Clothing is much cheaper in Europe. Quality clothing is much cheaper in Europe. So a lot of people depend on the U.S. for their trade in clothing and whatnot. But there's places
Lyf,
like
even
Panama.
even in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Even Shein, however you want to put them.
many persons also shop through AliExpress, Alibaba, because for my business, for certain things, that's where I go. I don't always go to Amazon. So yeah. Then again, a lot of the stuff that you find on Amazon, it come from there anyway, from China. So it kind of gonna be safe.
It's time enough. It's time enough people start to think differently, right? The leadership in place right now does not respect Caribbean people or even Caribbean leaders. We have seen that. Anybody who thinks differently does not follow the news. So it's time enough. Listen, there are places in England like Primark, other places that you could get really good clothing that you could buy and come to St. Vincent to sell over. As you said, AliExpress, Shein, Alibaba and these places, but some people still focus on trying to go to the US to do the shopping and whatnot. I can't even tell you what is better to go to the US to buy right now. Because I said if you're looking to fill a barrel, the food is much cheaper in England. Much, much cheaper in England. The clothing in England is of better quality. Even Canada. So it's time, we get rid of this mindset because this current administration does not want Caribbean people there. We see the breaking news right now is the lady that was shot by ICE agents, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
If you look at the video, right, you could see that they say the woman was not part of any ICE action. She was just there and she tried to drive away and they shot her in the head. You know what I mean? Shot a woman and she said an unarmed woman. And the narrative from Minnesota is that, three different officials in Minnesota said this woman did nothing wrong. And then we see the federal government, I forget the lady name who gave the statement, said the woman is a domestic terrorist and she tried to run over the agent. So, but listen, anybody, I don't know if you look at the video.
I saw the video, I saw it.
Oh,
and I saw it from different angles.
Yeah, she was just basically trying to get away from them, and they shot her in the head twice. And listen, we as Caribbean people, we need to have a little more self-respect and do things differently. It's 2026 and as obvious that these people don't want to stay. a lot of the Caribbean people who there don't even want to stay. It's a very strange thing. Citizens of America who come from the Caribbean who have dual citizenship, like a Vincies in America and a St. Lucia American. Some of them are with what is going on. They don't even want to stay. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, do we just try to, like, you know, focus different and do things differently? It's not the same world. It's not the same when back in the day, you know, you could go to the US and have fun and do this and do that and buy this and buy that. You know what I mean? You're liable as a Caribbean person on vacation to be walking on the street and get approached by ICE.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But to engage in conversation with this though, so it was always a thing for me where people always wanted to get a visa. Like, I have never actually wanted to get a US visa. Not to say that I have any issue with the country or I wouldn't want to visit, you know, but it was never actually something that I said that I need to acquire, right? I would quicker visit Australia maybe than visit the US. But with all of this though, and in the conversation with Dominica and Antigua, and the bond that is recently in place, and the leaders of those countries saying that they're accepting the refugees, the refugees. I've always been curious. Well, I've been curious, and I've stated it before. Is this what the country or the Dominicans and Antiguans, is this what they actually want, right? Did the leaders of the country take it to their people and ask, well, or maybe maybe like a town hall meeting or whatever, you know, just to get a general idea? It would not necessarily be a full consensus of citizens, the views of the citizens, but would persons actually prefer to have the opportunity to be able to get a US visa as the trade-off to have these refugees come into their countries? Like, was it even put to the people? Or is it a case where they thought that their citizens were going to kick up because they no longer have the ability to get a US visa or have it get it a little easier?
Yeah, I know it's a hard, but to me that's a more political thing than anything else, right? Because politicians want to stay in power and they think that if people are not able to get visas because of policies they may have, that they're going to get voted out. But as I said, it'd be very interesting if you put that vote to the public what they will say. Because what kind of criminals are really selling in the Caribbean though? Like, how bad of a criminal you could be that you can't go back to your own country? I guess that is just some of these people file for what we refer to as refugee status, where they say if they go back to the country, they gonna get killed.
Right,
so
asylum.
Right, obviously, the United States believes this. If they go back to the country, they are going to get killed. They believe. So why not just grant these amazing citizens who you want to send to the Caribbean asylum in your country? Why send them to the Caribbean? Like, what kind of people they coming in? Some of them might be actually good people, you know. I'm not saying all of them might be bad. Some of them might be just people caught between a rock and a hard place. But the way the U.S. is describing it is that they say it's non-violent. Some of them are non-violent criminals. What kind of crime are they known for?
So,
what is it that under U.S. law that they can't remain in the U.S. as asylum seekers, but they want to push them off on the Caribbean? Why they don't push them off on Canada? Why wouldn't Canada accept them? Russia or England accept them? It's just really strange that they want to push this off in the Caribbean region, because they know that the Caribbean is dependent on that, and the citizens want visas or whatever. But then on top of that, as I said, they put it to $15,000 back. It's just really strange. Like, what the region is accepted, what the region leaders are accepting on behalf of wanting to stay in power.
Well,
you know what I mean? I know politics is all about staying in power, but come on, these things are really, really, really strange. It's strange times.
Well, it wasn't just for the Caribbean though, because even last year we heard that the US were deporting persons to other countries as well. But like, let's look at it from a different angle though, right? And I had raised it on Monday when we were having the discussion with Maka and Doc. When we look at places like New York, and we call New York the melting pot, right? It's a melting pot in that you see persons of different nationalities, persons of different ethnicities. just a whole blend of different people. And the US, places like the US and Canada and England have been accepting persons from different countries for decades, right? Are we thinking of it in a little bit of an insular way where we as Caribbean citizens don't want for other persons to come here in that sort of way as migrants in a sense? I know they're deportees, but as migrants in a sense.
I don't think so. Because these countries, right, build that policy into their laws. They built that into their laws to accept people from countries that are war torn, accept people from countries running from cartels, running from terrorism, running from domestic abuse.
Okay, Lyf, you're breaking up just a little, so whatever position you shifted to, shift back.
Okay, what I'm saying is that these countries built those laws into their policies. You know what I mean? They say they would accept people from one poor countries, but people who might be running from cartels, people who might be running from domestic violence. They built that into their policy. Why? Because at the time, it probably benefited them looking for labor and to attract more brain drain or for whatever reason. They built that into their policies. We small and developing states, we built them thing into our policies.
Okay.
And as you can see, during the last administration, foreigners were welcome here because it has been noted by many Caribbean countries that, listen, we have a problem where we have dwindling population. Look, we look what we did. Belize, St. Vincent, Barbados, and I think, what's the other country? Dominica. Dominica, right. So, look what we did. We came together and said, listen, we have free movements of our nationals between these countries. So we welcome one another. Governments are welcoming one another. We try to carry Trinidad, it's kind of like spitting on that now. But we have always talked about regional integration with the single Caribbean, single market and economy and all of that. That is what we have as our policy. They had that as their policy. Now, in their mind, it's no longer working for them. So they want to say, well, okay, this is now a bad policy. It wasn't before. So we could get these people to go to. And look at the countries they're choosing. Countries in Africa, countries in the Caribbean. We see Trump them telling Russia them have to protect people. England have to protect people. Ireland and France they have to protect people. They're basically bullying smaller dependent nations to help them fix what was their bad policy in the start. You know?
Fair enough. I could take that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's a situation where Vincies is saying we don't want foreigners. Vincies are very particular with certain types of foreigners. Back in the days growing up, you was hearing that, okay, we don't want Guyanese. Because so many Guyanese that came, they did illegal things. But then we move past that and we welcome the Guyanese. You know what I mean? Now, it was an issue where we were saying that we don't want the Africans, we don't want the Nigerians because they're scammers. No, they have become part of our society. Many of them who came here and now have families here, they're doing well. You might find one or two bad eggs in between. But since the Africans coming here, I only ever heard about one of them doing something that was not really above board, and it was just a shoplifting thing. One of them was accused by a local bank of doing something, of scamming the bank, but then when the lawyer came in, it showed us that it wasn't so. And I think that came down to the stereotyping of the individual, but the lawyer proved the person was innocent, you know what I mean? But they don't come here and make trouble. These people don't come here and make trouble. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a situation where Vincies are in that mindset still where they don't want foreigners.
Yeah,
so
but that's the thing. It took a while for us to be able to, totally embrace the Guyanese and totally embrace the Africans / Nigerians. Not that I am saying that I want for us to be accepting deportees, because I do not believe that that they're going to filter as best as they can to send us the cream of the crop. That's not going to be happening, right? But could it also be a case where we are not giving it time enough to see whether or not they can be accepted, like how we accepted the Nigerians and the Guyanese?
You see the thing with that, right? We're going to see we're going to see. We are definitely going to see. We don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a choice. We're definitely going to see. So we have to wait for it. Not that we, not that we have a choice. We're going to see because they are going to send them. From the time these agreements are signed, the US is adamant that they are going to send these people. So maybe we get some good ones. Maybe we get some people that are running specifically from certain things, and it's a matter of where they go back and they allow by them and people get killed for being so. And maybe we get those ones who are just basically eager to start over and have a new life, right? But when you look at it, if these people are really running from serious crimes, right? How you think international criminal organizations could possibly find out very easily where they are and come to these islands very easily? Remember, we don't really have visa restrictions on anyone, So what kind of thing? Listen, this is we have to think, Brad. This is a far-reaching consequences to plenty of these things, right? You know what I mean? Because some of these criminal organizations that some of these people are running from don't really care, They go anywhere to get people to prove a point. There have been incidents in St. Vincent and the Grenadines itself where people who are involved in the cocaine trade with Colombians and people, well, basically Colombians, Venezuelans or whatever. There have been instances where soldiers of these cartels have come to St. Vincent and taken people that we have never seen again, but people don't talk about these things. That happened in Union Island already, more than once, I think. I know it happened once for sure, but I'm quite certain that I heard of other incidents where people were taken. There were times when men were kidnapped from St. Vincent and taken to South America and held for ransom and whatnot. What is going to stop a cartel member to know that there's somebody down in Dominica that is the one that was sent out to the United States and sending them a crew, one man down in Dominica to kill that person? It happens. It's not a movie thing. You know what I mean? There was an incident where some fishermen were on the fishermen from Rope Place were fishing off Mustique Bay, and they encountered a drug boat with they said what looked like about 1,000 kilos of cocaine and heavily armed South Americans who took their water, took their food, took their cell phone, and basically allowed them to live. You know what I mean? So it's not far-fetched to make that these things could happen. You know what I mean? Who they send in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's really the question.
Like,
Who?
Yeah. They might, as I said,
and it's not who they and it's not just who they're sending, right? But is when they get it, who they're sending for afterwards, right? Because what kind of strain this is gonna put on the economy of this country? I don't know if St. Vincent will soon be bullied into accepting these people, but it seems as if St. Vincent is not being targeted in that manner at this moment. And I suppose,
we're lucky in that regard.
And I suppose maybe we need to have the conversation now as citizens where, let's say, the same bond is imposed on us, or if the restrictions are placed on us in terms of us acquiring visas, put it to us as citizens. Would we be willing to accept, or would we want to accept deportees if the trade-off is issues in relation to accessing the visa? So maybe the conversation needs to start among us now, just in case.
I think the main reason they haven't really found a way to get to singles yet is because we didn't really have that CBI.
CBI, yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think that's the main reason why they haven't reached us as yet. Because they would have to justify the reason why they moved into this. You know what I mean? Maybe they use you see what they did with Maduro. They say Caribbean leaders have been aiding Maduro. So with saying that, they could possibly put things in that category, right? Because we have close ties with Maduro with the Petro-Carib, and before Maduro, I forget, Chavez, Hugo Chavez or whatever. So therefore, when you see they say that, right, we had to be very careful that they don't use that and tie us into that. You know, because, as I said, the main reason they haven't really been able to touch us in that regard is because we don't really have seatbelts, so they can't swimmers have seatbelts, so we put them on that category, but we have to be very careful with this whole accusation against drug trafficking or whatever. And we can see also that they have basically they're not mentioning I saw a report from New York Times where they say the gang they said Maduro was head up. They only mentioned that 2 times in the indictment, so they basically scratch that. It's not a real.
They said it's not a real gang, right?
Yeah, they said not. You know,
they will find a way. Like that's all it is. They will find a way. That's it. It's not. It's make America great again, but they will find a way. All right. All right. Life, your shift position. I
saw a thing where leaders like Nelson Mandela, Gaddafi, Fidel Castro, Hugo Chavez, all of them made different speeches with us saying the same thing, you know, and a lot of the things that they're saying have now come to pass. And people are up. Because when Gaddafi, there's a clip when Gaddafi said, who they gonna take next? Me or you? And then someone laughed.
Yeah.
But then we see it.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I saw that video as well.
Yeah. People are a joke, but then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my contribution to this. Let me go before you run.
I like when people know it's time to leave, okay?
And that's what we need to do. We have to know it's time to leave America alone.
All right, Life. Have a good one and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All righty. So that was our commentary from Life this morning. And in essence, the topic was, the conversation was, with the recent visa ban on Dominica, should Vincies seek other places to visit other than the U.S.? All right.
People are visiting the U.S. because of family, you know. So.
All right, we can take this off after. We will take this off after. I've just been one of them, but anyhow, we'll take it off after. So the time in SPG, it is 8:11, well over our time. But yes, just to note, our time check came to with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life,